Wow, that's a long question because I've moved around a lot, but and I have a long name. But my name is Habib Zargarpour, and I was born in Iran, in the capital. In third grade, I went to Belgium for 2 years, then back to Iran for a couple of years. Then the revolution happened. I was back in south of France, so I went to high school in south of France in Cannes, and went to university at Vancouver, Canada. I always wanted to be an industrial designer, and they kept telling me there's no undergrad for that. And towards the end of finishing engineering, I found out about Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, and very excitedly applied. And I had a portfolio because I was always trying to do art on the side anyway, and got accepted. That was a very happy time to go down there and just be immersed in it. And one thing led to another, and I met people that were, the instructors were designers in film, some of which I ran into later at ILM, and that became like a foundation for my career. It was spring 1990, and they came and interviewed us. We knew Alias, right? I was using Alias, and ILM came to interview people who knew Alias. We didn't know why. And they accepted me and a classmate to be interns that summer. So I didn't sign up for school or any travel. And then towards the end of the term, I hadn't heard back. They said they're going to just come down and like make sure we know what we're doing. And then when I called them, they said, "Oh, we have this really big project. We don't have enough machines for interns." So the big project was Terminator 2. So I almost got onto that one. But it turned out, anyway, I tripped into making a film or being on a film that summer. And my girlfriend at the time, Donna Trujillo, was an illustrator at Art Center, and she signed up for jobs, and this director had hired her to illustrate his film. Brett Thompson, who's doing Adventures in Dinosaur City. Luigi Cingolani was the producer, and so she said, they need a product designer guy too. Why don't you come along? And so I went there, and we did an all-nighter illustrating, plastering the walls with drawings, and then the producer came and he liked what he saw, and he hired us for the project, and we ended up doing storyboards and set design, illustration. It was a low-budget film, but the teams were great. The people were like, design setters had done miniatures for Abyss, and they were doing miniatures for this one, and John Logan, who was great with makeup on Star Trek. So we met a lot of great people. And then they needed visual effects, and they got a huge bid they couldn't afford. And I was doing computer stuff at Art Center, and I said, "Look, I've seen The Abyss. I always wanted to get into computer graphics. Why don't we give it some tests?" And Rick Fichter was the effects. He was the DP and the visual effects supervisor, and he'd worked at ILM on The Right Stuff and Top Gun. And so he was. He always wanted to get into CG, but couldn't get close to it. So we did a series of tests. I got permission to use the lab overnight. And he had a Mitchell camera. We put it on the monitor, on the SGI monitor, and we would be rendering frame by frame. And we brought a PA to frame record as the renders came out. And he would like wake up, see the render hit record on the Mitchell camera, and fall back asleep. Then he would wake back up and not remember if he'd hit record.